Before you spend another coin, stop scrolling. What if I told you that an ordinary-looking coin in your pocket could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars? Today, we're uncovering one of the rarest and most valuable US coins ever discovered, revealing the hidden errors, key dates, and unbelievable auction prices that every collector needs to know. Stay with me until the very end, because the final coin might completely change the way you look at your spare change. And if you love rare coins and hidden treasures, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next incredible discovery. Let's get started. A coin so ordinary looking that millions of Americans jingled it in their pockets during the darkest days before Pearl Harbor, yet hidden within its copper surface is a die-cutting mistake so subtle that it went unnoticed for decades. Welcome to the story of the 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and specifically the legendary double die obverse variety that transforms this everyday cent into a 4- and even 5-figure treasure. If you think all wheat pennies are basically pocket change, this coin is about to change your mind completely. To understand why this penny matters, you have to step into 1941 America. The Great Depression was finally loosening its grip, factories were retooling for wartime production, and the nation stood on the edge of entering World War II. The 1941 Lincoln penny was minted during a pivotal year in American history, as the United States entered World War II, and these pennies were among the last to be made primarily of copper before wartime metal shortages forced a change in composition. Antiques know how the Philadelphia Mint, producing coins without any mint mark letter, struck well over $1 billion cents that year using dies created through a hubbing process, essentially stamping the coin's design onto a die multiple times to harden it properly. It was during this repetitive hubbing process that something went slightly wrong, and that mistake is exactly what collectors chase today. So what actually makes this penny special? During production, the die shifted ever so slightly between hub impressions, creating a doubling effect visible to the naked eye if you know where to look. There are at least 3 different doubled dies known for the 1941 Lincoln cent, with the Type 1 being the most popular, showing doubling mostly noticeable to the north of the word liberty, with additional doubling to the east of the word trust, and even some visible doubling below the 4 in the date. PCGS, run your eyes across the obverse of a genuine example and you'll notice the lettering looks almost ghosted, like the coin was struck twice and shifted just a hair in between. Add in the fact that these cents were struck in classic bronze composition, giving them that warm reddish glow when found in high grade, and you have a coin that's as visually striking as it is historically loaded. Rarity is where this penny truly earns its bragging rights. Unlike common date wheat pennies that turn up constantly in old jars and estate sales, the doubling on this variety is subtle enough that it was overlooked by most people handling money at the time, meaning relatively few were ever pulled from circulation and preserved before wear erased the detail. Condition plays an enormous role here too, since the doubling becomes harder to detect once a coin has circulated and lost its sharp strike, meaning uncirculated, well-struck examples with vibrant original color are dramatically scarcer than worn survivors. Grading services categorize these coins by color designation, from fully red to red-brown to brown, and that color grade alone can swing the value by thousands of dollars. Now for the number every collector wants to hear. This minting error can almost double the price of an ordinary 1941 penny, with brown mint state examples ranging from roughly $200 to $300, while fully red examples can fetch anywhere from $500 up to $5,000 or more. Antiques know how the top end of the market gets even more dramatic. The auction record sits at $9,200 for a specimen graded MS-66, achieved back in 2010, while a coin graded MS-67 has fetched as much as $35,000. SD bullion, that means the exact same date and mint, with the exact same design, can be worth pocket change in low grade or fund a down payment on a car when it's a pristine, richly toned, top population example. If you're hunting for one of these yourself, patience and skepticism are your best tools. Start by learning to spot genuine doubling under magnification rather than trusting a seller's word, since mechanical doubling and damage are frequently mistaken for the real doubled die and can fool beginners. Always insist on coins certified by a major grading service like PCGS or NGC when spending serious money, since authentication protects you from counterfeits and overgraded junk flooding online marketplaces. When comparing listings, cross-reference recent auction results rather than asking price alone. And never be afraid to walk away from a coin with clean surfaces, added color, or vague photos, because a lack of transparency almost always signals a problem. At the end of the day, this unassuming little cent proves that history's greatest treasures don't always look flashy at first glance. It carries the weight of a nation on the brink of war, a design classic that shaped American currency for decades, and a minting mistake rare enough to turn a 1-cent coin into a life-changing find. Whether you're a lifelong numismatist chasing that elusive high-grade red example or a curious beginner who just learned pennies could be worth thousands, the 1941 double-die obverse cent deserves a spot on your radar, and maybe, just maybe, a spot in your collection. Every great coin has a discovery story, and the 1941 double-die obverse is no exception. For years after the coin left circulation, it sat unnoticed in rolls, jars, and old collections because the doubling is subtle enough to require a loupe or magnifying glass to truly appreciate. It wasn't until dedicated variety hunters, the kind of collectors who spend hours studying die characteristics rather than just dates and mint marks, started cataloging Lincoln cent double dies that this particular 1941 variety earned its place in the record books. That's part of what makes this hobby so thrilling. Somewhere out there, a coin worth thousands might be sitting in a forgotten coffee can, waiting for the right eye to spot it. It's also worth understanding that this coin doesn't exist in isolation. There are multiple double die varieties known for 1941, not just one, and each carries its own level of rarity and premium. The Type 1 gets most of the attention and commands the strongest prices, but the lesser-known Type 2 and Type 3 varieties exist too. Each with slightly different doubling patterns and their own smaller followings among specialists. This layered complexity is part of the appeal for serious collectors because it turns a single date into an entire mini-collecting project, with new discoveries and subtle die stages still being debated by hobbyists today. Let's talk about care and preservation, because that's where fortunes are won or lost. Copper is notoriously reactive, and a coin that starts out vibrant red can shift toward brown over years if it's improperly stored, which directly erodes its value. Serious collectors keep these coins in inert holders, away from PVC plastics that leach damaging compounds, away from humidity, and away from handling with bare fingers, since skin oils alone can begin a slow chemical reaction on the surface. If you're lucky enough to own a high-grade red example of this variety, protecting that color is just as important as the coin itself. Comparing this penny to its more famous cousins helps put its value into perspective. Everyone's heard of the 1943 copper penny, the famous wartime error where a few bronze planchets accidentally got struck instead of the new steel ones, and those coins can command 6 or 7 figures. The 1941 double die doesn't quite reach those dizzying heights, but it occupies an important tier just below the mega rarities, offering collectors a taste of that era coin excitement at a price point that's actually achievable for enthusiasts building a serious collection rather than just billionaires and museums. Market trends for this coin have remained remarkably resilient over the past decade. Unlike some speculative collectibles that spike and crash, double die Lincoln cents have built a steady dedicated collector base through organizations and price guides that track die varieties meticulously. That means when you buy a certified example, you're buying into a market with real depth and real demand, not a fad that could evaporate. Prices at the top end, especially for those elusive gem red examples in the mid to high mint state range, have shown consistent appreciation as fewer and fewer high-grade survivors remain available. For anyone looking to start hunting, here's a practical entry point. You don't need to spend thousands right away. Many beginning variety collectors start by studying photographs and diagrams of the doubling from reputable numismatic references, then practice spotting the difference between true die doubling and simple wear or damage on cheaper, ungraded coins. Once your eye is trained, you can move up to searching dealer inventories, coin shows, and online auction houses with confidence, knowing exactly what separates a genuine variety from a common lookalike. In the end, the 1941 double die obverse penny is a masterclass in why numismatics rewards patience and knowledge. It's a coin that hides its secrets in plain sight, rewarding collectors who take the time to really look closely rather than just glance and move on. Whether you're chasing the thrill of the hunt, building a specialized variety set, or simply want a tangible piece of pre-war American history in your collection, this humble 1-cent coin proves that sometimes the smallest details carry the biggest value. Next up, imagine holding a penny in your hand that could be worth more than a luxury car, a coin that slipped through the cracks of history due to a simple mistake at the mint. That's exactly what happened with the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny struck in steel, bearing no mint mark, meaning it was produced right at the Philadelphia Mint. While millions of ordinary bronze pennies rolled off the presses that year, a tiny handful were accidentally struck on leftover steel planchets from the previous year, creating one of the most sought-after error coins in American numismatic history. This is the story of an accident that turned into a treasure. To understand why this coin exists, you have to go back to 1943, when the United States was deep in World War II, and copper was desperately needed for ammunition and military equipment. The mint switched to zinc-coated steel planchets that year to conserve copper, producing the now famous steel pennies. When 1944 arrived, the mint reverted back to using copper, largely sourced from recycled shell casings, to strike the wheat pennies collectors know and love. However, a small number of leftover steel blanks from 1943 remained in the presses or bins, and when the dies for 1944 were used to strike them, an extraordinary error was born, one that nobody at the mint intended or even noticed at the time. What makes this coin so visually and historically distinct is the unmistakable silvery gray steel surface paired with the 1944 date, a combination that should never have existed under normal minting practices. Unlike the common bronze cent from that year, this piece has a magnetic quality due to its steel core, a detail collectors often use as a first line of authentication. The obverse still carries the classic Lincoln profile designed by Victor David Brenner, while the reverse displays the traditional wheat ear design, but the metal composition is what transforms this ordinary-looking coin into an extraordinary historical anomaly. Rarity is the heartbeat of this coin's value, with experts estimating that only a small number of these transitional error pennies were ever struck, making them dramatically scarcer than their 1943 steel or 1944 bronze counterparts. Condition plays an enormous role in determining worth, since surviving examples range from heavily circulated and worn specimens to pristine, nearly untouched pieces that avoided decades of handling. Coins graded in lower circulated conditions still command impressive prices due to sheer scarcity, while those graded in mint state condition become the crown jewels of any serious collection, often triggering intense bidding wars whenever they surface at auction. When it comes to market value, prices vary widely depending on grade and authentication, with lower-grade circulated examples often selling in the range of $10,000 to $20,000, while higher-grade examples in the $30,000 to $60,000 range are not uncommon. The very finest known specimens, especially those certified by top grading services and possessing exceptional strike and luster, have sold at auction for well over $100,000, with some approaching or exceeding the $250,000 mark. These numbers make it one of the most valuable regular-issue error coins in all of American coinage. For collectors hopping to acquire one of these remarkable pennies, the golden rule is authentication first, since counterfeiters have been known to copper plate ordinary steel cents or alter dates to mimic this rarity. Always insist on certification from a reputable third-party grading service, examine the coin under magnification for signs of alteration, and use a magnet test cautiously as a preliminary check, since genuine steel cents will respond to magnetism while altered bronze fakes will not. Buying through established auction houses or trusted dealers with a strong track record in error coins is far safer than private sales, and patience is essential since genuine examples surface infrequently on the market. In the end, this coin represents far more than a printing mistake. It stands as a tangible piece of wartime history, a testament to the chaos and improvisation of a nation focused on winning a global conflict. Its rarity, unmistakable visual character, and soaring market value make it a thrilling centerpiece for any collection. Whether you are a lifelong numismatist chasing the ultimate error coin or a newcomer captivated by the idea that a simple 1-cent piece can be worth a fortune. Few coins combine history, mystery, and value quite like this one, and that is exactly why it continues to capture imaginations more than 80 years after it was accidentally struck. Let's talk about the sheer detective work involved in identifying one of these coins in the wild, because that is part of what makes this hobby so thrilling. Picture yourself at an estate sale, flipping through an old cigar box full of loose change inherited from a grandparent, and among the dull copper cents your eye catches something different, a dull silvery sheen instead of the warm reddish-brown you expect from a wheat penny. That single moment of recognition is the dream every coin collector chases, the idea that history itself might be sitting quietly in a jar of forgotten pocket change, waiting for someone with a trained eye to notice what everyone else overlooked for decades. The story of this coin also connects deeply to the broader narrative of American coinage during wartime, a period when even something as small as a penny became swept up in the demands of a global conflict. Every planchet, every ounce of metal, was part of a larger effort to keep soldiers supplied, and the fact that a handful of steel blanks slipped through into 1944 production is a small but fascinating reminder of how imperfect even the most controlled industrial processes can be. It is a story of scarcity born not from artistic rarity, but from the friction of history itself, and that origin story is part of what draws collectors in so powerfully. One aspect that seasoned numismatists appreciate is how this error fits into the broader family of transitional errors, coins struck on leftover planchets from a prior year's production. These transitional pieces exist across many series and years, but few carry the same combination of drama, scarcity, and instant visual recognizability as this one. Because the steel color is so strikingly different from a typical bronze cent, even a casual observer with no numismatic training can spot something unusual, which adds a layer of accessibility to a coin that might otherwise feel like an insider's secret reserved only for advanced collectors. Grading these coins requires an expert eye since the surface of steel cents behaves very differently over time compared to bronze coins. Steel is prone to spotting, discoloration, and a phenomenon where the zinc coating can wear away or develop unattractive gray or blackish tones with age and improper storage. A coin that has been lovingly stored away from moisture and handling will often retain a brighter, more lustrous appearance, and this dramatically affects both the assigned grade and the ultimate price it commands, making proper storage and handling history almost as important as the coin's origin story itself. Collectors should also understand the importance of provenance when pursuing a coin at this level of rarity and value. A documented chain of ownership, especially one that traces back through respected auction houses or well-known collections, adds an additional layer of confidence and desirability. When a coin like this appears at a major auction with a clear pedigree, bidding tends to be more spirited, because buyers know they are getting a piece with a verified and trustworthy history rather than an item that simply appeared out of nowhere with no supporting documentation. It's worth noting how this penny has captured attention far beyond hardcore collecting circles, showing up in mainstream news stories and viral social media posts whenever someone claims to have found one in ordinary change. These stories spark public fascination because they tap into a universal fantasy, the idea that immense value could be hiding in plain sight, tucked into a jar of spare change on a kitchen counter. That crossover appeal has helped elevate the coin's cultural profile, turning it into one of the most recognizable rare coin stories among people who don't even consider themselves collectors. From an investment perspective, rare error coins like this one have shown a pattern of strong long-term appreciation, particularly for pieces with top-tier certification and eye appeal. While coin collecting should never be approached purely as a financial vehicle, savvy collectors recognize that scarcity combined with enduring historical interest tends to support strong demand over time. Because so few genuine examples exist, prices have generally trended upward at major auctions, and each time one surfaces publicly, it tends to renew interest and reinforce upward pressure on values for comparable pieces. For those just beginning their journey into error coin collecting, this penny serves as an excellent case study in what to look for and appreciate in the broader category of mint errors. Learning to recognize planchet errors, transitional pieces, and off-metal strikes through this famous example builds a foundation of knowledge that transfers to spotting other valuable anomalies across different coin series. Many advanced collectors point back to their first encounter with this coin's story as the spark that ignited a lifelong passion for hunting down minting mistakes and manufacturing quirks hidden within otherwise ordinary currency. Educational resources, including numismatic society publications, grading service population reports, and detailed auction archives, offer collectors a wealth of information to deepen their understanding of this coin's history and market behavior. Studying population reports in particular reveals just how few certified examples exist across various grades, reinforcing the coin's status as an elite rarity within American coinage. Serious collectors are encouraged to attend coin shows and numismatic conventions where they can examine certified examples in person, ask questions of experienced dealers, and build relationships within the community that often lead to opportunities to acquire or learn about significant pieces. Ultimately, whether viewed as a historical artifact, a visual curiosity, or a serious investment vehicle, this remarkable penny continues to earn its place among the most celebrated coins in American history. Its story reminds collectors and casual observers alike that value isn't always measured in gold or silver. Sometimes it's found in a 1-cent piece that slipped through the cracks of a nation's wartime production, waiting patiently for someone to recognize its extraordinary significance. Next up, picture holding a small copper coin in your palm that could be worth thousands of dollars more than its 1-cent face value. That's the thrill waiting inside the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny struck without a mint mark, meaning it rolled off the presses at the Philadelphia Mint. For casual collectors and lifelong numismatists alike, this coin sits at a fascinating crossroads of everyday American history and unexpected rarity. Because while millions were produced, only a tiny fraction survived in the kind of jaw-dropping condition that turns a pocket change penny into a 5-figure treasure. To understand why this coin matters, you have to go back to 1945, the final year of World War II, when the Philadelphia Mint was cranking out coins at a furious pace to keep the wartime economy moving. Unlike its infamous 1943 steel cousin, made when copper was diverted to the war effort, the 1945 penny returned to the traditional bronze alloy of copper, tin, and zinc once metal supplies stabilized, making it a symbolic coin marking America's transition out of wartime scarcity and back toward peacetime production, all while still bearing Victor David Brenner's classic Wheatear reverse design that collectors adore. What makes this particular penny stand out isn't a flashy design quirk but the absence of a mint mark itself, since Philadelphia-struck coins from this era carried no letter, distinguishing them from the D of Denver and the S of San Francisco, and savvy collectors know that subtle mint errors, striking irregularities, and rare double-die varieties from this production run can dramatically separate an ordinary find from a numismatic showstopper, especially when a coin exhibits sharp, fully struck details on Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks that so many worn examples lack. Rarity here isn't about scarcity of mintage, since Philadelphia struck this coin by the hundreds of millions, but about survivorship in top condition, because decades of circulation, cleaning, and environmental damage have left genuinely pristine, richly toned, and fully lustrous specimens astonishingly hard to find. And it's that intersection of common mintage but rare preservation that drives serious grading services and collectors to obsess over even the faintest hints of original mint luster and unbroken surfaces. When it comes to Chinese letter, or rather value, the price spread on this coin is dramatic and exciting. A well-worn, circulated example might fetch only a few cents to a couple dollars. A lightly circulated piece with decent eye appeal could bring $5 to $20. But once you climb into uncirculated grades with vibrant original color and razor-sharp strikes, prices can leap into the hundreds, and the finest known examples certified in top gem grades have realized anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 or more at auction, making this an approachable yet genuinely thrilling coin for collectors chasing condition rarities. If you're hoping to add this penny to your collection, the smartest strategy is to prioritize professionally graded examples from trusted services like PCGS or NGC, since third-party certification protects you from counterfeit or artificially altered coins claiming superior color or luster. And it's worth attending reputable coin shows, working with established dealers, and comparing recent auction records before buying, because condition truly is king here. Paying a premium for a certified high-grade specimen almost always pays off more than gambling on a raw, ungraded coin from an uncertain source. In the end, the 1945 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny captures everything that makes coin collecting so addictive. A piece of tangible American history from the final year of a world war, a design beloved across generations, and a price range so wide that both budget-conscious beginners and deep-pocketed investors can find their own version of the thrill. And whether you're drawn in by its story, its beauty, or its potential to appreciate in value, this humble copper coin proves that sometimes the most exciting treasures really do hide in plain sight. Beyond the raw numbers, there's a story angle worth lingering on. 1945 marked the year Americans finally exhaled after years of rationing and sacrifice, and every penny that changed hands that year passed through soldiers coming home, families rebuilding, and a nation stepping into a new era of prosperity, which is exactly why so many collectors say holding one of these coins feels like holding a tiny time capsule of resilience rather than just a piece of metal. It's also worth talking about the tunning phenomenon that obsesses advanced collectors, because copper coins react to their environment in unpredictable ways over 8 decades, and a penny that spent its life in a dry, stable environment can develop a gorgeous, even reddish-brown or vivid mint-red surface, while when exposed to moisture or pollutants can turn blotchy, spotted, or dull brown, and it's this natural almost artistic variation in color that makes two coins of the same technical grade look wildly different in value and desirability to the trained eye. For anyone just starting out, a smart entry point is learning to distinguish red, red-brown, and brown designations on grading labels, since a coin labeled full red in gem condition can be worth several multiples of an identical brown example, and spending time studying reference photos, attending local coin club meetings, and even joining online forums where collectors trade high-resolution images can sharpen your eye faster than any book alone. Turning a beginner into someone who can spot a hidden gem at a flea market table. As you build toward owning or simply appreciating this coin, remember that its real magic lies in accessibility paired with upside. Unlike ultra-rare keys that cost a fortune just to enter the hobby, this penny lets you dip a toe in with pocket change while still chasing the dream of uncovering a five-figure condition rarity. And that blend of low barrier to entry and sky-high ceiling is exactly why the 1945 Philadelphia Wheat Penny keeps drawing new collectors into the hobby year after year. Talk to any longtime numismatist and they'll tell you the real hunt happens not in auction houses but in ordinary places. Old coin jars inherited from grandparents, bankrupt rolls picked up on a whim, estate sale boxes nobody bothered to sort through. And it's this treasure hunt element that keeps the 1945 penny alive in collector folklore because unlike ultra-rare coins locked away in vaults, this one still turns up unexpectedly in the wild, giving everyday people genuine odds at a lucky find. It also helps to understand how this coin fits into the broader Wheat Penny series that ran from 1909 to 1958, since collectors often pursue complete daytime mint sets, and the 1945 Philadelphia issue serves as an accessible mid-tier building block in that pursuit. Letting newer collectors practice grading skills and build confidence before tackling pricier keys like the 1909 SVDB or 1914D, which makes this penny a kind of training ground for the entire hobby. Authentication deserves special attention too, because as certified high-grade wheat pennies have climbed in value, so has the temptation for bad actors to artificially recolor or doctor common coins to mimic rare full red luster. So collectors should learn to recognize telltale signs of alteration like unnatural sheen, inconsistent color patterns, or a slippery, overly glossy surface, and when in doubt. A raw coin sent to a reputable grading service for authentication is always safer than trusting a seller's word alone. Storage and preservation matter just as much as acquisition, since copper is notoriously reactive, and improper handling, PVC-laden plastic flips, or humid storage environments can permanently damage a coin's surface and destroy years of careful preservation. So serious collectors invest in archival quality holders, cotton gloves, and stable climate-controlled storage to protect not just the coin's appearance, but its long-term market value. Ultimately, what elevates the 1945 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny, beyond a simple curiosity, is this rare combination of narrative depth, technical nuance, and genuine financial upside all wrapped into a coin small enough to fit on a fingertip. And for anyone building a collection with an eye toward both personal enjoyment and smart long-term value, this humble 1-cent piece offers a rare kind of magic where history, artistry, and opportunity all click perfectly into place. One often overlooked angle collectors love to explore is the die variety landscape within the 1945 Philadelphia issue. Since minting technology of the era wasn't perfect, and subtle doubling on Lincoln's date or lettering, minor die cracks or slight misalignments occasionally slip through quality control. And while these aren't as dramatic as the famous 1955 doubled die, sharp-eyed collectors who track down these minor varieties can uncover a coin with added premium value simply because so few people bother to look closely enough to notice them. It's also worth appreciating how this coin connects collectors across generations, since a grandparent who lived through the war years might have literally handled this exact penny in 1945. And passing that coin down alongside its story creates an emotional value that no price guide can fully capture, which is part of why estate collections and inherited coin jars so often become the entry point for entirely new collectors discovering the hobby for the first time. From an investment perspective, it's smart to think of this coin not as a speculative bet but as a tangible, historically grounded asset that tends to hold steady value over time, since demand for well-preserved wheat pennies has remained consistent among collectors for decades. And unlike volatile markets, a certified high-grade coin bought at a fair price rarely loses its appeal, making it a low-drama way to diversify a collection while still leaving room for that exciting upside if a truly exceptional specimen surfaces. And that's really the heart of why this coin continues to capture imaginations nearly 80 years after it left the Philadelphia Mint. It asks so little to get started, yet rewards patience, knowledge, and a good eye with genuine excitement. And whether you end up with a modest circulated example tucked into a beginner's album or a gem-grade prize sitting proudly in a display case, the 1945 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny proves that the most rewarding collectibles are often the ones hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. Next up, the 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark is one of those fascinating coins that often hides in plain sight. Millions of people have handled this penny without realizing that certain examples can be worth far more than just 1 cent. While most circulated coins remain common, exceptional pieces with outstanding preservation, brilliant original color, and rare minting characteristics have become highly desirable among collectors. Today, we're uncovering what makes the 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny so special and why some examples have sold for astonishing prices. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not place a mint mark on its coins during that year. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse displays the classic wheat ears that appeared on Lincoln cents from 1909 through 1958. These coins were produced during a period of strong economic growth in the United States, making them a familiar part of everyday commerce. Although hundreds of millions were minted, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition, creating opportunities for collectors to discover truly valuable examples. One of the biggest reasons collectors search for the 1956 no-mint mark penny is the possibility of finding premium quality coins with blazing red copper surfaces, sharp strikes, and attractive luster. Collectors classify these pennies as brown, or red depending on how much of their original mint color remains. Fully red specimens are the most desirable because copper naturally darkens over time. In addition, collectors closely inspect coins for die cracks, repunched design details, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and other mint errors that can dramatically increase value when authenticated by professional grading services. Condition is the factor that separates an ordinary 1956 penny from one worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. A heavily circulated example generally sells for only a few cents to a few dollars. Attractive uncirculated coins often bring between $20 and $150 depending on their quality and color. Certified mint state red examples graded MS66 commonly sell for around $250 to $800, while exceptional MS67 red coins may reach $1,000 to $5,000 or more. Rare error varieties or elite registry quality pieces can command even higher prices when competitive collectors bid against one another. If you're hoping to add this coin to your collection, patience and careful research are essential. Examine rolls of old wheat pennies, estate collections, and reputable coin dealers for coins with original surfaces that have not been cleaned or altered. Avoid polishing copper coins as cleaning almost always reduces their value. For higher-priced examples, purchase coins certified by respected grading companies to ensure authenticity and accurate grading. Comparing recent auction results can also help you recognize fair market prices before making a purchase. Many collectors overlook the 1956 no-mint mark penny because of its large mintage, but experienced numismatists understand that quality is what creates rarity. Finding a coin with flawless surfaces, vibrant original red color, and minimal contact marks is extraordinarily difficult after decades of circulation and storage. That challenge is exactly what keeps demand strong. As more collectors build high-grade Lincoln cent sets, competition for top-quality examples continues to increase, making premium specimens especially desirable. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny with no mint mark represents far more than a simple 1-cent coin. It tells the story of mid-century America while offering collectors the excitement of discovering hidden value in everyday pocket change. Whether you're searching for a beautiful red mint state example, a fascinating mint error, or simply adding another classic wheat penny to your collection, this coin combines history, artistry, and investment potential in a remarkable way. It's proof that sometimes the smallest coins can leave the biggest impression in the world of numismatics. Beyond its impressive value, the 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny remains popular because it marks one of the final years of the famous wheat cent design. Only 2 years later, in 1959, the United States introduced the Lincoln Memorial Reverse to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 150th birthday. That historical transition has encouraged many collectors to complete full wheat penny collections, increasing demand for high-quality 1956 examples that showcase the classic wheat ears in exceptional detail. Another feature that experts pay close attention to is the sharpness of the strike. Although Philadelphia generally produced well-struck coins in 1956, some pennies display stronger details than others. Collectors look for crisp lettering, bold wheat lines, and Lincoln's hair and beard showing full definition. Coins with superior strikes and brilliant mint luster often receive higher grades, making them significantly more valuable than average examples from the same year. Copper is a delicate metal, and preserving its original appearance is one of the greatest challenges for collectors. Over time, exposure to moisture, fingerprints, and improper storage can cause a bright red penny to turn brown. Because of this natural aging process, original red examples have become increasingly scarce. Collectors are willing to pay substantial premiums for coins that have retained their vibrant mint color after nearly 70 years, especially when the surfaces remain free from spots or discoloration. Auction records have shown that outstanding 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Pennies can generate intense bidding among advanced collectors. While ordinary circulated pieces are inexpensive, premium certified examples in superb mint state condition regularly sell for hundreds of dollars. The finest known specimens with outstanding eye appeal have exceeded $5,000 at major auctions, demonstrating how dramatically condition and rarity influence the value of an otherwise common date coin. If you're searching for this penny, don't overlook old piggy banks, inherited coin collections, or unopened bankrolls that may have been stored for decades. Sometimes remarkable discoveries come from collections that have remained untouched for generations. When examining a coin, use proper lighting and a magnifying glass to inspect the date, lettering, and surfaces for unusual characteristics or possible mint errors that could increase its value. Before selling a valuable 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny, consider having it professionally graded and authenticated. A certified grade provides buyers with confidence and often results in stronger offers. Collectors and investors generally pay more for coins that have been evaluated by respected third-party grading services because the authenticity, condition, and originality have already been verified. The 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny continues to prove that age alone does not determine a coin's worth. Instead, rarity in top condition, original mint color, exceptional eye appeal, and collector demand combine to create extraordinary value. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or someone just beginning to explore the hobby, this classic wheat penny remains an exciting reminder that a tiny 1-cent coin can hold remarkable historical importance and impressive financial potential. One of the most exciting aspects of collecting the 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is the possibility of discovering an overlooked treasure in an ordinary group of old coins. Many valuable examples were spent decades ago and may still be sitting unnoticed in family collections, old coin albums, or forgotten jars. That sense of mystery keeps collectors searching, because every penny has the potential to be the next remarkable find. The market for high-grade Lincoln Wheat Pennies has remained strong because these coins appeal to both history enthusiasts and investors. As more collectors compete for the finest certified examples, the supply of top-quality coins becomes even tighter. This combination of limited availability and steady demand helps support premium prices, particularly for coins with exceptional eye appeal and original red surfaces that have survived untouched since leaving the Philadelphia Mint. Proper storage is essential for protecting the value of any copper coin. Experts recommend handling a 1956 Lincoln Wheat Penny only by its edges and storing it in a protective holder or archival-quality coin capsule. Keeping the coin in a cool, dry environment helps preserve its natural color and prevents environmental damage that can permanently reduce both its grade and market value. The 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is a perfect reminder that extraordinary collectibles can come from the most ordinary pocket change. Its rich history, timeless design, collector demand, and the possibility of finding a rare high-grade example make it one of the most rewarding wheat cents to own. Whether you're building a complete Lincoln cent collection or simply enjoying the thrill of the hunt, this classic coin continues to inspire collectors around the world.